Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Skinford 2, The Curse, which is actually the third installment of this movie, and it's incredibly convoluted. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Heart in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 13, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So, apparently, this is the third installment of a series, a franchise that starts. Actually, the first one started in the modern era. And the premise is there is a woman who cannot die. She has the gift of immortality. That's her there in the present day, and she considers it a curse. And anybody who touches her also gains the ability, I think. I don't know, the descriptions were a little confusing. But it starts in this time period. I'm not sure if this explores how she became immortal to begin with, but she applies for a job to be a servant for a rich lady. I guess it's in Australia because I think it's an Australian movie. And then, I don't know, they have a relationship, and then at some point it cuts back to the present day. And I say back to it because the first two movies seem to take place in the present day. And what happened was, there's a con artist named Skinford in the first movie who's forced to dig his own grave when he uncovers her in a grave still breathing, and then touches her and I guess saves her, and then now neither one of them could die. So then there's another movie called, the first movie's called Skinford, then it's Skinford Death Sentence, and then Skinford 2 The Curse, which I guess explores the curse of being immortal and how it happened. It doesn't sound like a bad premise, but the trailer is not good to explain anything. It doesn't explain anything. I had to do a lot of digging to find that out. Now, this feels like it's kind of a popular franchise in Australia. I mean, they're on their third movie. It must be popular with somebody. I'm not exactly sure, what the purpose is or why she's immortal. Doesn't really say. It just shows a bunch of disjointed scenes in two different time periods with no context whatsoever. And quite frankly, the modern day ones are so darkly lit, I wasn't even sure it was the same woman. I guess it is. I guess that's the same woman. It's kind of hard to tell because of the lighting. And they're fighting gangsters, which really was from the first movie and possibly the second. It seems like you gotta have a lot of knowledge of the previous movies to get this one. I'm not against it. It sounds like an intriguing premise. Just a random woman who's immortal for some reason. And she's got some sort of curse, I guess. I don't know how long she's been immortal. So did you become immortal? And this is exploring that in the past scenes, or has she always been immortal like since the beginning of time? And this is just one of her many adventures, kind of like Highlander. I'm kind of confused on this. So I would say this one really needed a voiceover. Oh, 100%. 100% a voiceover to explain this. And, because it feels like it's going to be payoffs of stuff from the previous movies. 3-act breakdown. I mean, I guess it's going to be partly told in the modern times, partly told in flashback. The gangsters apparently want to get her because they want to be immortal too, I guess. And so stuff from the previous movie is still, I don't know, still percolating in their universe. And so maybe it's possible. I mean, this trailer is just so not functioning as a trailer. It's possible that they just put a bunch of past scenes into this and put way too many. You know, maybe there's not that many flashback scenes, but obviously there's some flashbacks, and at some point maybe it explores how they became cursed with immortality, and then it cuts to the modern day, and then gangsters are after them, and it somehow ties into that. I guess that's Skinford, because Skinford's a guy. It doesn't refer to the women who are immortal. It seems like a weird title too. Like, I'm struggling to get it all in my brain, because it's all these disparate elements don't really come together any kind of way. Here, Joan, go away. You're too distracting. Jeez. So, you know, if you're gonna do a movie about an immortal, maybe work some kind of word in the title that would imply that, or imply something supernatural or weird, you know. Words like endless, forever, you know, immortal. I mean, that's a little more on the nose, but I mean, you could do it. What would I call this series? I wouldn't call it Skinford. That seems just. I mean, you might as well call it Frank. I mean, you might as well call it just any random name. You know, Skinford's Girl. Something like that. At least, I mean, the focus of the movie is really the immortal. It's not really Skinford. So, or the curse of Skinford's Girl, something like that. Just seems like there's a lot of elements here, and you're really asking a lot, I think, for this particular trailer, for people to go, ooh, I want to see that movie. I mean, you just can't just put a bunch of random scenes and hope, well, they'll figure it out. Essentially, it's like you're trying to sell us the third act. I'm sure there's a lot of payoffs in this. I would assume there would be, but was this originally a TV show? Kind of feels like a TV show, too. And, you know, how did they become immortal? Did you already explore that in the first two movies? Like, there's a lot going on here. Second act, I guess the mobsters are after him, and it's a shoot 'em up action thing. Third act, I don't know. I mean, if you're keeping this open for endless movies, I mean, I guess they beat the mobsters and Skinford lives again to return in the fourth movie, which will be called Skinford 3. That's another problem. Like, you're calling it Skinford 2, and this is the third movie. You Aussies, you're very confusing in your movies. This is very confusing. Anybody see this thing? I mean, it's in my wheelhouse. I mean, it's got hot chicks, mobsters, action, some Highlander stuff. You could sell me on this movie. I would see it. But I had to do a lot of research just to understand the trailer, so that's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. I think you need an easier trailer. I think you need a voiceover, big time, to explain this movie or TV show, whatever the hell it is. So yeah, Skinford 2, The Curse. You either know about it or you're as confused as me. And that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for a more base takes. You can find a more base take. I say, take it. Thanks to all who came out to Complete Care in Victoria Commons in North Cape, May. Saturday, I'll be at I Heart Horror Convention in Sayreville, New Jersey. Super Bowl Sunday, I will be at the Valaris in Sicklerville, New Jersey. So I hope to see you there. We'll see you tomorrow.